What's up, everybody? Today I'm going to teach you how to play People Person. Here. Okay, the first thing you want to do is tear off a score sheet for everyone and hand out a pen or something to write with. The object of this game is to become the first player to reach 10 points in all the attributes that you see here, and there's 7 of them. So your points will be going up and down throughout the game, but once you reach 10 points in any category, you can mark that one out so the other players know you're done with it. Okay, so now we're going to want to shuffle the deck of cards, separately of course. You don't want to mix the 2 decks. Alright, then we're going to deal out 2 people cards face up to everyone so all the other players can see them as well. These 2 people cards represent your family at the beginning of the game and should remain face up on the table throughout the remainder of the game. Now your family gives you a starting point, so go ahead and add these family's attributes to your score. Now this will be the only time throughout the game that you'll get free help from your family. After this you'll have to use a family reunion card to get their help, but we'll get to that later. Okay, after everyone has their initial scores set, deal out 5 people cards to every player, but this time face down so the other players can't see them. These 5 cards represent your friends at the beginning of the game. They don't give you any points yet, but they soon will. Next, we're going to deal out 7 event cards to each player, or if only 2 people are playing, just deal out 5 event cards. It's a good idea to keep these cards separate from your friends as well, just to make it easier on yourself. Alright, now decide who goes first, however you want, and we are ready to begin the gameplay. Now on your turn, you are considered to be on offense, and everyone else is considered to be on defense. So when you are on offense, you will do 3 moves. These 3 moves can be done in any order you choose, but you have to do all 3 regardless of how your situation is looking. Okay, so on your turn, you will pick a best friend, you will play an events card on yourself, and you will play 2 events cards on other players. Or if it's a 2-person game, you'll only play out 1 events card to your opponent. Okay, so here we go. So whoever's turn it is first, whoever's on offense, will do the 3 moves on your turn. So let's start by picking a best friend. So I'm going to look into my friend's card right here and pick out someone whose points I want. We'll say Angus right here. And I'll put that card down on the table for everyone to see while I add their points to my score. That is my best friend. Everybody knows who it is, and I get their attributes. Now, after you've marked the points and everyone sees it, you can put this card back into your friend's pile. So you get to gain your best friend's attributes and keep them. Next, I will play an events card on myself. So if you look in your events card, there are gain cards and lose cards and bonus cards, which I'll get to later. The general rule of thumb is you want to play gain cards on yourself and lose cards to other people. I mean, you can play a lose card on yourself, sure, and in certain situations it may be more beneficial, but the general rule of thumb is play good cards on yourself and dish out the loose cards to your opponents. After all, you are trying to win a card game. Okay, so now I'm going to reach in my events pile, and I'm going to pull out a card that benefits me, so a gain card. And I see this family union card over here. That probably is the best card to use right now. But before I do that, I see that I have a long-lost cousin card, this bonus card, and it's playable anytime. And that particular bonus card adds a family member. I'm going to go ahead and play that first. Then when I play this family union card, I pull for my entire family, so I'd be pulling from 3 cards instead of 2. So I'll discard the long-lost cousin card, and then I'll discard the family reunion card. I'll put my points down, I'll show everyone, and now it's time for my last move. Okay, the last move left to do is to play 2 events cards on your opponents. Now you could play 1 card on 2 different people or 2 cards on 1 person, but if you play 2 cards on 1 person, you must wait for that person to fully react to the first card before you play the second, so you can't play them simultaneously. Now if you play the cards on 2 different people, then you can play them at the same time, so that way it speeds up the game a little bit. The last thing you'll do on your turn is to draw back up to 7 events cards, signaling to the other players that your turn is over. Now, if you're playing a 2-person game, you would draw back up to only 5 events cards. Okay, so when it's not your turn, you're playing defensively. So when a player dishes out a lose card to you, your friends are going to come to your defense and try to block any lose cards that come your way. Now, again, you could play a gain card here on an opponent, but you are trying to win a card game, so it's best to throw a lose card out to them. So when a player dishes out a lose card to you, your friends are going to come to your defense and try to block any lose cards that come your way. So you're going to reach into your friends pile and pull out anyone that can help block the attributes of the loose card. Now you have to fully block the loose card, but it doesn't matter how many friends it takes you, as long as each friend helps in the attributes. Okay, so that was a one-person trump. So here's an example of a two-person trump. And this is an example of a three-person trump. Now let's say instead of using Sean for this last authenticity, we decided to use Belinda. Well, in that case, we'd have to take out Janie because she is no longer contributing to the trump. And it would, in this case, be a two-person trump instead of a three. And this is an example of a four-person trump. Now, if you happen to get lucky and do a five-person trump, then you automatically win the game, because with friends like these, you already are a people person. Get what I'm saying? Okay, so how do you score this? So if you do a one-friend trump, you ignore the lose card and just take the attributes of your friend. You do the same with a four-person trump. So 1 and 4, you ignore the attributes of the lose card and just gain the attributes of your friends. With a 2 and a 3-person trump, you will subtract out the lose card from the attributes of your friends and gain the net of those. Alright, so after you've played your defense, you can then discard the card played against you, as well as any friends that help come to your aid. Now, if this drops you below 3 friends, you can then draw a people card until you get back up to 3. This is called the Three's Companies rule, and it allows you to have at least 3 friends at all times. So what happens when you can't get help from your friends? Well, if you can't trump the lose card that's played on you with your friends, then you just simply lose the points shown on the card. There is a bit of a silver lining to that, though, because anytime you lose points, you get to add a friend by drawing a people card. This is called the Friends in Low Places rule. So that's the game in a nutshell. You go around in a clockwise position. On offense, you play a best friend, which could be any friend you currently have in your pile. You play an events card on yourself and 2 out on your opponents. On defense, which will be any time it's not your turn, you will try to block any loose cards that come your way with your friends. If you block it, you gain points. If you don't, you lose points and gain a friend. 3 friends minimum at all times. Alright, a couple more rules. Whenever you cross out your first attribute, you can either pick out a second best friend to gain points from, or you can play a second events card on yourself. This can be done only once per player per game and must be done either immediately or on your next turn if you cross it out on defense. Alright, people person cards are a type of bonus card played on your turn that give you +1 to every attribute. If you happen to have 3 in your hand and play them all at once, you actually get +4 in every attribute, not 3. If you happen to have all 5 people cards and play them all at once, you automatically win the game. If you do recall, you can also automatically win the game with a 5-friend trump, but both of those are extremely rare. The nothing to lose rule says that if any time you have only lose cards in your event pile, then you may show everyone and discard the pile for a fresh new 7 cards. The quality over quantity rule says that if you have 5 or more friends, you may discard 3 of them at any time to draw 1 new friend. If a card says decided at random, you must select without looking. If a card is played on you but it doesn't affect anything, it's considered to be a dead card. Playing dead cards on yourself or your opponents will likely be a common strategy toward the end of the game. However, any loose card played on you, whether it's considered to be a dead card or not, can still be trumped by your friends. The last thing are the bonus cards, which add a ton of strategic layering to the game. I'll have them posted in the description below, but they're also located in the back of the instructional book. There's really just too many to bring up all of them right here, but some of the more notable ones are the social butterfly cards, which allow you to swap friends at any time. This becomes very useful once you start to get the feel of the game. Some cards let you add friends or even steal friends, same with family members. The No More Drama card cancels anything played on you. You get the idea. Alright everyone, that's it. I hope I was able to convey it well enough on video. If you have any questions, just put it in the comments below. Peace!